It'll never be nice.
Dog is the nicest.
There.
That isn't saying much.
Dog?
But you know what is nice? Informer, the hit song from Snow's 1992 debut album, 12 Inches of Snow. Which is the best fucking name for a debut album I've ever heard.
Mm.
Yeah, that guy rapped so damn fast it made me dizzy. By the way,
Too
I
bad
got
it
the
wasn't-
notification from YouTube. We're on.
Yeah, too bad it doesn't talk about whatchamacallit, the length of his other things. Just talks about the length of his career. 12 inches.
All right. Let's go ahead and play that theme music, huh?
Sure. Oh, yeah. It's that time of week, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Smark Snark podcast, episode 309. My name is Gunnar, and over there is, Mega BR, who's currently having issues trying to actually get his sound working. Hopefully by next week he'll have that fixed. Also joining us this week, technical producer, Mr. Yankum DDS.
If it's broke, it's not my fault.
Not this week, at least. We'll blame Chev. Also joining us this week is Vassar. It's also Vassar, who's not paying attention. I swear he's here, folks.
Fast.
Yeah, Chester's here.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? And can you say roast beef, chicken breast, hard salami, and brown sugar ham? That's my dinner for tonight.
So also taking in a meat smorgasbord straight to his mouth is Shao Kana.
Oh, you sexy bitches. How's it going? You ready for the big meat?
Save us, dog.
Hard salami. That's all I got to say.
Salami, baby. I know that feeling. Oh, God. All right.
Oh boy.
There's Vassar. Did you wake up from your coma?
I bopped Vassar, sorry.
Ew. That's I feel.
Hey, that's in between the two of you.
Let's go on to the news.
Yes, inform us.
The current plan is for Brock
Yes,
Lesnar.
inform us.
Yes, Brock Lesnar to act like he's leaving for UFC with the Universal title. That no one believes in Roman. Even much harder with the hope he'll gain sympathy.
It's not going to work.
Why?
How many times have they done this fucking thing where they're trying to get like sympathy on Roman? Like no one likes him.
8. I believe the count is at 8. Like,
You know, dude, if we're supposed to get if he's supposed to be sympathetic, he should really stop bitching about how he should be the champion.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We can't buy him as a babyface because there's the difference between him and Cena. When Cena loses, he like admits, well, I wasn't the better man that night, and he shrugs it off and tries better. Whenever Roman loses, he just bitches and bitches and bitches about it. Like, there's nothing sympathetic about this guy. I want to see him get his ass kicked.
Like, we despise the way Cena was booked because he won constantly. But he was also able to lose, and, like, the first thing he would go out that night and say, yeah, you know what, last night, I lost. I got beat. I was the lesser man that night, but I know I can beat you again, and that's the big babyface pop. Reigns goes out there and complains that he should be the champion and don't give me another shot, just give me the title. It's never gonna work. It's some of the worst writing that you can think of for trying to make someone a likable character.
I just don't understand how quite possibly they could have someone on the roster that they completely misidentified and they won't allow to be on the on the television as their genuine self. Obviously the suffering succotash version of Roman is very much, a version of Roman that they want to push forward, and that since he's a team player and wants to, walk in the big shoes of John Cena, which is very obvious,
And guess what? They have that option with Money in the Bank again. If things go bad, you can easily just have Braun Strowman come in and cash in.
Right, exactly. And that's probably what's going to end up happening.
And
here.
That's the worst possible thing that could happen at this point. That would be the third time that he got close to beating Brock, but then didn't beat Brock, and then got cashed in on like a fucking geek. That doesn't give me sympathy toward him either.
Right, exactly. There is no reason for this to be happening. None whatsoever.
Here's the problem too, is that we're so much in the point of the blurred reality of all of this and the reality era. He's not a sympathetic figure behind the camera either. The dude had a rocket shoved up his ass from day one, and everybody knows who he's related to, so they know he's going to get pushed. It's part of the reason, to the same degree, you can't really make Nia Jax that much of a sympathetic babyface, but she has things that she can work with and has a bit of charisma and people who like her because she's a decent character. It blows my mind, dude.
She's getting better. That's the thing. She's getting better, and they're booking her somewhat differently. The problem with Roman was that he was cool until the Shield disbanded for the first time.
And then he talked all by his little lonesome self. And then everybody was going, this is the guy Vince wants to push?
If he was behind Bobby Heenan right now, I mean, I understand that.
Well, yeah, no shit. If he had the best talker in the history of professional wrestling in front of him, I'm sure he'd be doing great. So would any other jack-off.
Not really.
Yes, really.
No, I would argue actually there's a bunch of people that could stand on their own without people like that, and that's fine. But for Roman specifically, he needs a fucking person to be there for him.
He either needs that or he needs to never talk. We've said that like a million times on this show. That the best thing he could do would just never talk and beat the fuck out of people. And people would start liking him after a while. But the problem is that his personality is kind of grating in general. He's just not the type of person who fans are going to immediately connect with and see themselves in.
All right, let's put it this way. If Roman Reigns shaved his head and was the constable right now, instead of fucking, Baron Corbin, would he have an extremely better fit for a gimmick?
No. You can't shave that beautiful hair.
Let's just imagine that you could.
No, that wouldn't be a better gimmick either. The best possible gimmick would be him for just be the heel that he is. Just put it all out there. Say, this is the guy that Vince wants. This is the guy that the corporate wants. And let him actually be that heel. And he'd be fine. But they have this idea that he has to be cheered. Think of like so many baby faces start off as heels. Like, that's how they're allowed to show their personality, and then people end up liking them more, and then they turn babyface, and then they're beloved. Imagine Austin never having his 1996 heel run. Imagine if they tried to push him as a babyface that entire time.
That's basically what we would see here. All right, let's move on from one big dog bites to another big dog bite. Shinsuke Nakamura was bitten on the leg by a police dog at Monday's live event, causing him to miss his scheduled match with Jeff Hardy on SmackDown.
Yes.
What the fuck?
I kind of saw this coming as the punk rocker in me, and as most things in punk rock say, all cops are bastards.
I guess. But really, at the end of the day, what it turns into is that Shinsuke's knee is very explosive, apparently, because this was a bomb dog that was going around doing a normal pre-event check with the local police's bomb squad, so that everybody could be safe. And the dog approached Shinsuke with other members of the police department in the room, according to the official police statement that was released from Bakersfield. And they basically were in the room, and the dog, with no provocation and for no reason, bit Shinsuke.
Well, I blame those cops for letting the dog be within range of Shinsuke. They had to know what they were doing. I think it was on purpose. Obviously, they set up Shinsuke, the bomb.
Well, that was a dud. Moving on.
That was a long. I know that was a long way to go for that, but god damn it, it was worth it.
How long is he going to be out for? Isn't just like
Not long.
Honestly,
Not long,
it's
apparently.
probably
It was kept out last week as a precaution, to be honest.
it's probably not a bad idea just to keep him off TV for a few weeks anyway, because his value is kind of shot after losing all those matches to AJ and not ever winning. It's just keep him away for a little bit, and he'll come back and he'll still be strong.
Oni Lorcan broke his orbital bone at Takeover Chicago and will need surgery. Also, did you see fucking what's his face's jaw?
Yeah.
Lars Sullivan with a broken jaw.
Lars Sullivan. Oh my god, bro, your jaw. It looks like somebody it looks like a goddamn horror movie. Like somebody took the jaw, put it like through a fucking bandsaw, and like stopped halfway through and pulled back out. It's that broken.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, exactly. It was bad.
Was there any one cause of it that we know of?
Nope, we don't know.
Probably getting kicked in the face.
I mean, here's the thing, though. We've seen some crazy ass. We've seen people die in the ring just off something that looked like a minor. 900,000 times people get up, but this one time someone didn't. So who knows? I'm sure getting kicked in the jaw did not help, though.
No, it did not.
Feel terrible for Oni Lorcan and more specifically Danny Burch, because their team was really starting to come together pretty well. And Danny and Oni both deserve a big push because they're both very, very talented. So, yeah.
All right. And then the last little news bit here thrown in. Creative is nothing for the bar, according to Dave Meltzer.
How?
Nothing for the bar.
It's fucking Sheamus and Cesaro. How do you not have anything for them, especially with how fucking terrible SmackDown's tag division is? And the weird thing is, I actually forgot that they were on SmackDown.
Right?
Why were they moved to SmackDown if Creative has nothing for them?
Well, I mean, why was Sanity called up to SmackDown? Why was AOP called up to Raw when the Creative had nothing for them? Hell, Sanity fucking lost their in-ring debut.
I don't necessarily despise the fact that Creative doesn't have anything for them at this point. It's not like a huge deal, but you're telling me that you can't put them out there in tag matches for like 10 minutes every week? You know what I mean? Like them going out there and having a 10-minute match. They don't even have to say anything. They just have a good match with the Usos. fill some time, get the crowd excited. They go away, no promos, no nothing. That's all you need. You don't have to fucking. There doesn't have to be a story on every single week for every person.
It just bored the fuck out of me, the fact that these people are being called up. Hey, by the way, Andrade Cien Almas, hottest champion going into the first quarter.
He's since getting called up to SmackDown. He's been on twice. And I believe is about to have another month of just, he's not anywhere. Like, no one knows what he's doing.
So, like, why did you call him up if you're not going to do anything with him?
They're going to do the exact same thing to Velveteen Dream, too. That's the big word, is that rumors going around, he's the one that's getting the call up. And he's going to die a death on the main roster faster than Tyler Breeze did.
God. Imagine wasting Velveteen Dream.
But Bo Dallas is another perfect example of all this. I mean, look at how great Bo Dallas was in NXT, and look at where he is now. I mean, segment.
You know who else was really good in NXT? Sami Zayn.
Well, we all know Sami Zayn can work and do things, and he's just another victim of all this.
Because, like,
basically,
I was like reminded of like his Road to Redemption storyline with Neville.
All right,
Remember how fucking awesome that was?
Yes, it was. Let's cut this off and go
No, time out. We're missing a real big news piece.
What's that?
Related to NXT, by the way. Big rumor floating around among the dirt sheets and some of the entertainment news, like sphere, blogosphere, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Essentially, Fox is interested in airing NXT on FS1. I seem to remember someone, when we were talking about this Fox deal, making a note that, when is NXT going to be next? Who could that have been?
I don't know. I don't have any.
Some fucking geek.
Possibly have been.
But yeah, the big rumor is that NXT is going to become programming. Is going to be on TV in the US for the first time on FS1. I'm not surprised by it. To me, when you look at the amount of money that they paid for just SmackDown, and you just kind of think for a while, it's like, that is way overpriced for SmackDown. What else are they getting? And now the whole shape of the deal is finally starting to make a lot of sense.
Oh, well, I can just want to say one thing about this. They would have to take it down for commercials from what it is right now, practically 55 minutes to like 45 or 42 minutes. And I don't think that's a good idea unless they wanted expanded it to 2 hours.
There are other ways. There are other ways to get advertising in.
That, dude. All you need is the 1 hour slot on a Tuesday prime time, and then you're good to go.
Like, you could have the banners that show up during sports games with, like, the McDonald's logo, and it plays a little, like, banner ad or whatever. There are ways you can work around it. But, yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before we see that announcement. So, big news. And it's going to be real weird. Going to be real weird to hear somebody called up from the NXT roster when they're already on, like, national television. Right. Yeah, like, I'm wondering when this becomes a situation where it's truthfully just the third brand. It's not even developmental anymore.
Oh, shit. Apparently, hang on. Someone, come on, computer load. Anyway, apparently, according to Wrestling Observer News, WWE isn't trying to just fuck over ROH on the Madison Square Garden thing. It's part of a bigger power play because of whose contract comes up at the end of the year, and WWE is going to try to pursue them. It is Cody, the Bucks, and Kenny Omega, apparently.
All of which has decided not to, who has publicly stated that they are not going to sign with WWE.
Nope, the Elite aren't going back. Or at least Cody isn't.
Yeah, you can say a whole lot of things, but when they pull a dump truck of money and just dump it right on your front yard, you'll do shit that you never thought you could. Plus, on top of that, they always have the carrot of Dusty Rhodes to dangle over Cody. And that tells me that someday he's going to go back. We'll see. Cody Rhodes to NXT.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the 15-minute time limit. You can ding us in there, Yankum, or no? Apparently not. Okay. All right, so 15-minute time limit.
Well, I mean, you have the ability to do that.
I know.
too.
I know. I'm busting your chops.
the command.
Yeah,
Ding, ding, ding.
You're the technical producer. I'm just busting your chops, dude. Calm down. All right, let's talk about some stuff here. So here's a scary thought about that NXT thing. WrestleMania week, right? Thursday night, you have the Thursday night you have the Hall of Fame ceremony. Friday night you have SmackDown. Saturday you have NXT Takeover. Sunday you have the pay-per-view. Monday you have Raw. Tuesday you have the NXT Takeover, and Wednesday you have something else where you want to die.
Tuesday, you mean SmackDown on Tuesday?
No, I don't mean SmackDown on Tuesdays. I mean NXT on Tuesdays. I mean NXT will move to Tuesdays if they get this FS1 deal. I guarantee you. The 8 to 9 p.m. slot on a Tuesday night is exactly where they belong on FS1. And then they always get preempted by other sporting events that they're playing on FS1. Also, they recently designated WWE as sports branding as opposed to entertainment, which was an interesting discernment for me.
That's what I want to see. How many times will WWE programming get preempted by something else? I mean, this is Vince. He can throw his weight around, but still, are they going to just say, this is entertainment and we want to do real sports? Or how is that going to work?
It's not going to be an issue. If there's anything that's big enough to preempt it, it's going to be on Fox. It's going to be on main network Fox. Like, the only things that Fox runs that would be bigger than it and preempt it would be NFL and college football. That's about it. And all that stuff would be on Fox.
And playoff Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and that would also be on Fox, too. It wouldn't be on FS1 anyway. So
right. And the only thing you'd have to worry about there would be SmackDown on a Friday night.
Yeah, but, college football doesn't play on Friday nights. None of the sports really that Major League Baseball or Fox Sports covers is going to be playing on a Friday night.
Except for Major League Baseball for World Series and playoff time. And that'd be the only time you'd have to worry about it. And that's 2 months out of the year? At most. And you're not going to necessarily...
Yeah, and it's not even going to be an issue. Yeah, because it's going to air on Fox or TBS, and FS1 is a different channel. Again, they're not paying all this money to preempt a fucking television show, guys.
Right. I've got some more stuff here for this 15-minute time limit. We're going to talk about Sasha and Bayley here in a little bit as the main event here, but I want to talk about New Japan for a second. So the Cow Palace show that is listed for 4.5 hours live on Access after the 8-hour Bullet Club marathon that starts at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Say what?
Yep, the Cow Palace show that they're doing in a week. Oh God, it's almost a week. It's after 4th of July basically. They're starting a whole marathon that leaves up all the best Bullet Club moments on Access.
Wow, so we're getting into WrestleMania territory for NJPW. Is that right? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I mean, it's just a bunch. It's basically like the Walking Dead marathons that you see on AMC right before the new episode. That's the idea.
It's very standard TV practice now to do. I remember, wasn't there the full series of Breaking Bad before their final season aired or something?
Yep.
Yeah, this is how they do it now, and honestly, it makes sense. If you want to get people into New Japan, it's going to help an American audience a lot to show, hey, there's an actual larger storyline going on, and look at all this incredible wrestling.
They do that with Walking Dead as well. Like before new
Yeah, we
season
said
starts, they'll play. Oh, I missed that. They do that for every new episode too. They play like the entire fucking season leading up to the new episode that fucking day. It's
There hasn't been big movement as far as ticket sales though. With the card announced, but the secondary market, which isn't that bad, given that the show is the closest being sold out. So basically, the tickets are. There's a lot of local tickets that are moving, but like the super expensive stuff that was purchased, all of that was purchased was actually by out of towners, which is kind of strange. So they're looking at 5,000. Hey, Dog, can you look up to see how many the Cow Palace holds?
Cow Palace is about 10 to 12. I'll look it up.
Okay. Technically, though, they're going to take the largest gate ever, essentially, because these seats are so fucking expensive.
12,953.
So basically, they're going to half fill the Cow Palace.
Well, one of the big issues with this is this wasn't even announced until this year, right?
Yep.
So that's not much time. And for an event like this, you want people traveling to it. It's not enough time for a lot of the fans to book hotels, book flights, book all this shit, and then it's just one show.
request
It's a
time
real
off
tough
from work.
sell.
Yeah, plus they just did a show in California like not too long ago.
Yeah, less than a year ago.
And that's where they announced it too. That's almost no time.
Honestly, they should try to go to like the Midwest or the East Coast for once.
Well, they have done that before with ROH for sure.
No, I mean like full on New Japan.
Well, obviously, but you know,
They're
more comfortable on the West Coast.
Difference?
They're more comfortable on the West Coast because they're more known on the West Coast, to be perfectly honest.
I think what they should have done is ran the Cow Palace right away. The hype for that first show in the U.S. was just through the roof, and it literally didn't matter what the card was going to be. They could have sold out the Cow Palace, and then they could have came and done Long Beach for this one, and would have sold 4,000 seats for that. It would have been perfect.
All right, let's talk about Sasha and Bayley finally turning on Sasha and beating the crap out of her. What do you guys think of all that nonsense?
Well, if we must.
It was cool, I guess. I mean, they're probably going to botch this storyline anyway, so I guess just enjoy it while we can.
Am I the only one that's fucking sick of Sasha and Bayley?
No, I am too.
I was about to say, what are my thoughts on Sasha and Bayley? Is I have no thoughts and I do not care.
It's reached Sasha and Charlotte Flair levels of I don't ever want to see this again.
It's just hard for me to. Well, I'm going to be honest with almost everything in WWE. I just don't care anymore.
The apathy level in the WWE is very much there. There are probably about 5 people I currently care about off the top of my head.
Like all the people I care about are in NXT, and the only person on the main roster I care about obviously is Asuka.
Right.
But they've turned her into a complete joke.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like you didn't know that was coming.
I mean, she was doing fine on Raw.
I hope it turns into her like turning evil once and for all, but they're probably gonna mess it up.
Like we were so close to heel Asuka in NXT, and then they were like, yoink, nope.
Yeah, they were teasing it, and then it was just her coming out with a new mask.
Omega BR is chiming in like he did last week, by the way, about this. Apparently, a lot of people thought Bayley turned heel, but Sasha's been antagonizing her the entire time from the Rumble, Elimination Chamber, etc. I'm sure they want Sasha to be the face since she still moves merch, but whatever. Yeah.
In what way is Bayley the heel in this storyline? Sasha was the like asshole friend treating Bayley like shit, and then
in what way is Roman Reigns a baby face?
Exactly.
Like it doesn't matter what the character is presented as, what they do. They've shown us time and again that the only thing that matters is we want you to cheer this and boo this. They don't care about anything else.
Remember what I've said? Remember, basically, in this past 2 years, this podcast has said, Vince has kind of lost his touch. So what if I told you that there's a WWE writer who came out and said that Vince was losing touch of his memory too, like to the point where he would be talking about someone, and then be like in the middle of it, say, "Hey, what did we do with this guy on Raw last week?"
Oh my God! Do you think it's finally happened? Do you think he's finally gone senile?
I think it's starting to.
I think that happened
He's
a while
been senile for years. If you've heard any stories of people running into him backstage and him just not remembering who they are.
By the way, Omega chiming in, and I agree wholeheartedly with this, says, I did hate how Bayley had this big moment, and then she goes to Kurt Angle, and instead of challenging Sasha at Extreme Rules with an impassioned speech, Angle fucking scolds her and makes her go to therapy under the threat of getting fired. And it was Angle that did it. It wasn't even Corbin, Constable Corbin. He probably should have done it.
Now we have to say this. The only way that this Angle can possibly be redeemed in any way, shape, or form is with the return of Dr. Shelby.
No, the storyline fucking sucks. No. The storyline fucking sucks. And it's like, you've had people who've been like, why the fuck is Braun Strowman not in fucking anger management? You see what the fuck this guy does every week? And then all Bayley does is stick up for herself and beats the shit out of Sasha. And all of a sudden, oh, hey, now she goes to therapy.
If this was 1993, he'd be locked up in some sort of like mental ward, and he'd be like, he'd be some sort of like pun on like inmate or something like that, and like he'd be like the Tim mate or something, and he would be just come out in an orange jumper and like break handcuffs. I can break these cuffs.
So in other words, he'd be the modern day equivalent of Norman the Lunatic.
I don't want to see if I see Dr. Shelby pop up, I'm turning it off and I'm done, like for good.
Well, Team Hell No got back together, so.
Well, yeah, okay. Here's the thing with Team Hell No, that was a joke. From the beginning to the end, that was meant to be a joke. So Dr. Shelby made perfect sense. You're trying to make this a serious feud between two of the best wrestlers that you have on the roster. And if you bring in Dr. Shelby, like, that's it. Fuck off. I'm not wasting any more of my time.
It's just disappointing because we know all of these people can wrestle and do a good job. We've seen it before in the past.
Just hug it out.
And somehow, some way, everyone that's like been called up after a certain point in time just has had this like stigma about them of, I don't know how to book these people, so they're going to stay in the mid card and not do anything except for that Charlotte girl because she's Rick's daughter.
Should take some advice from the people that have been around for a while instead of just doing his own thing.
Getting boob implants, or I thought that was what you were going to say. But yeah, no, that's true too. I just find it very strange. Very, very strange.
The women's division, you have wrestlers like Ember Moon, you have Natalya, you have Becky Lynch, you have Asuka, and you manage to just squander all of them when there's some of your best wrestlers in the company.
Oh, and Team Hell No being back. No offense, I like the team. I like Kane, but again, Nakamura was bit by a dog, and he used Bryan in the main event with Harper, and now he has a tag team title feud. On the list of things I thought Bryan was going to do on his way back, this was probably number 27.
Yeah.
Why was this even on your fucking list?
Because my list only went to 25, and I did not have a 27 on the list.
Well, I think this is only going to last till Extreme Rules, and I feel like this is probably going to be Kane's last run because he's going to be doing politics and whatnot. So I feel like, well, all right, this is Kane's send off. It's fine if it only lasts till Extreme Rules.
And he's getting old too.
Getting old.
All right, so
50.
think about this, right? Here's how this works. You have a fun segment with this. Dr. Shelby comes back for one segment with them, which will be great. You have the Team Hell No stuff. You even have like a rap battle with the Usos with Bedazzle and Curly Kane. Just some silly shit.
God.
Some silly shit, and then all of a sudden, it's the middle of the match, and Kane turns on Brian, stealing the shit that we saw at NXT Takeover that one time.
That makes me just want to stab my eyeballs out. You're telling me that the most over talent in generations, probably since Stone Cold the Rock, comes back after years away. It's half a miracle that he's even allowed back to wrestle. And he's going to be put in a fucking mid-card tag team with goddamn geriatric Kane, who's running for mayor. Fuck off.
Yep.
Fuck off. You don't care about any of the tag teams. You've done everything possible to make the tag team division a fucking joke, and then you stick them both in it? God, suck my
Hey,
fucking
by the way,
nut.
the bar has nothing for them creative.
Yeah, we got nothing for the bar to do. Fuck them having a 15-minute match with Daniel Bryan and Kane, which would be fantastic, and everyone knows it. We got nothing for them to do. Fuck off.
I'm sure that they will have that in a losing effort, and then we'll all remember Sheamus and Bryan 18 seconds, and then we'll be like, oh wait, that was 2010. Aren't we all set now?
I'll say this: if Daniel Bryan doesn't get involved in more main event like stuff, and his contract is running out, I just say fuck it and leave.
Yes. If he has to leave,
I still
they're
think
never going to get it unless he leaves. And here's the other thing, they're never going to let him have the matches and the feuds that he wants. He's not going to go in there and have a 30-minute match with Shinsuke Nakamura. But if he goes to New Japan, he's going to have a 30-minute match with Okada. He's going to have a 20-minute brilliant technical match with Minoru Suzuki.
I have this strange feeling that Shinsuke is going to leave as soon as his contract's up too.
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, I understand that he's preserving his body by going here, but at the same time, it's like, you have done yourself no favors. You did some cool shit. Now go back to Japan.
I feel like his time in WWE has been a big waste of time.
Pretty much. I mean, really, he's just killing time so that he could cool himself off in Japan and then come back to a big hero's welcome coming home.
Getting ready for Shinsuke Nakamura to debut in All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Whoa, really? You think he'd go to All Japan instead of Best Engine?
No, it's a joke.
No, Jester. No, but the whole point would be that he would come back and then all of a sudden he'd be stuck in tag team matches with Tenzan. Yep.
The bot didn't like
I
that.
agree. I agree.
With what? The buzzer or me?
Buzzer. I always agree with the buzzer.
You know it'd be true.
I wish I had that buzzer around the second that the fucking Blood Brothers stepped on screen, and I could just hold it for 10 minutes. Those fucking geeks, and they're in a feud with the biggest star that you've made, despite yourselves.
They're not even
in
wearing the red
decades.
anymore.
In decades. Well, of course they're not wearing the red anymore because they're in a feud with Kane. Could you fucking imagine them walking out there with their outfits, their red outfits, and then out comes Kane, and they're standing in the ring next to each other? They look like Kane. They look like his cronies. They look like they're supposed to be a trio.
Yes, the Canaanites. We've already been over this.
I feel bad because they're a good team, and I like both of them as people and wrestlers. But this beyond X-Pac, Keith. I wish X-Pac came back and replaced them.
Jesus fucking Christ.
All right. That's enough. Vassar, can you give me some ratings, please?
And now for the ratings, starting off with Impact, 262,000 viewers, down from 276,000 the week previous. On to Raw, 2.663 million, down from 2.903 million the week previous. And finally, SmackDown, 2.135 million, down from 2.315 million the week previous. And that is it for the ratings.
Dog with the birthdays.
Happy birthday today to Boris Malenko, also to Villano the First, Bill Dromo, Greg Peterson, Bobby Kelly, Leo Numa, Sandy Starr, all having birthdays today. Then tomorrow, happy birthdays to Barbara Galento, also Pedro Nieves, and Harry Kent. Just to let her off, too bad. Happy birthdays on 30th. Last day of this month to Strangler Ed Lewis, to Victor Quinones, to Man Mountain Dean, to Bello Greco, also to Rusher Masao Kimura, also to Brian Tagland and Danielle Wolf. And then on the 1st of July, happy birthdays to Abismo Negro and Harold Sakata. Then on the 2nd, Frank Troll. Also, on the 3rd, Shinya Hashimoto, the legend. And also happy birthdays to Armand Hussein, Bouncing Benito Gardini, and Ed McLemore. Shinya, the god, Hashimoto. And then the most American of all birthdays to have, July motherfucking 4th, Independence Day. Happy birthday, and happy birthday, America. But also happy birthday to Bob Sweetan, to Billy Wolf, to Jack Curley, to Rufus R. Jones, to Angelo Sistolbi, to Ben Sherman, to Lionel Bellergian, who knows, and Jim Lynam. Those are the birthdays.
Shao Kahn, are you ready?
For what?
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Shao Kahn.
Oh, yes. In 1983, the Sheik's Army, Jerry Blackwell and Ken Patera defeat the High Flyers, Jim Brunzel and Greg Gagne in Minneapolis, Minnesota to win the AWA World Tag Team Championship. With this ended the High Flyers' second reign, which lasted just over 2 years. And then we go to 1987, Frank Lancaster and Eric Embry defeat the Fantastics, Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton, to win the World-Class Tag Team titles in Dallas, Texas, ending the Fantastics' second reign. Oh, this one's a good one. In 1988, Bull Nakano defeats Yumiko Hotta in the finals of the 4th annual AJW Grand Prix tournament in Tokyo, Japan. That's actually a really good match. You all should watch that. And that was This Week in Wrestling History.
Wait a minute, you're telling me a Gagne had a multi-year reign in the AWA? Nah.
I know, right? Shocking.
I can't believe that. That seems far-fetched.
No way. Hey, Yanko, you want to do Happy Trails?
Sure. Give me just 1 second here.
Okay.
Happy Trails. Let's see here. Happy Trails to Bianca Belair and Montez Ford, who were married. Also, Happy Trails to Enzo Amore, who claims he was supposed to lose the Cruiserweight title belt at the APA poker game at Raw 25, only for Nia Jax to win it back for him.
Which is hilarious.
No.
Bullshit on that.
No, that's one I actually believe, because that was right around when he got, and it would have advanced that storyline, which was pretty hot. It makes sense.
It would have been silly. It would have been good. It would have been a good moment.
No. You got to
Also,
devalue a title.
Bianca Belair and Montez Ford are a sleeper for like the cutest couple of all time.
Agreed.
Their like engagement photos are amazing.
The fact that they danced down the aisle after they got married was hilarious. The video is very adorable. No, Yankum, devaluing a belt? WWE? What planet are you on? Of course they would never devalue a belt. I mean, they
Never,
wouldn't.
never in a million years.
Especially one that was held by such prestigious wrestlers as Hornswoggle.
Goddamn it, Yanko, sometimes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, new segment. We're playing the button. You ready for this one? All right, here we go. If you press the button, a thing will happen, but there will be a terrible drawback. And you'll have to give a reason why or why not you would press the button. Here we go. Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble, his title shot, a title shot at WrestleMania, and goes on a very long, lengthy WWE title run. And he does this by ending the careers of Roman Reigns and Vince McMahon. That's it. That's if you press the button, right? The downside to this is if you press the button. The reason why he ends Roman Reigns and Vince McMahon's careers is because he cripples Roman Reigns in the middle of the ring with a shoot hold, essentially, that Roman was supposed to find a way out of. And basically ruins his ankle so badly that he can't properly walk on it or wrestle on it ever again, and is never medically cleared. So essentially passing the curse on, if you would. However, Vince, this happens to Vince because essentially he has a segment in the ring with the Authority, and he gives the knee to Vince, but then it goes horribly wrong, and it was a complete accident. But essentially, it puts Vince in the hospital, and he dies on the operating table, fixing him. Do you press the button?
So I missed most of this, but what I heard of it was like really edgy, so I'm just gonna go, nope.
Why would you not press? Okay, fair. Hold on, Doc. Would you press the button?
No, probably not, because I don't think I would want to see a Daniel Bryan who had to live with those realities. He's already had to go through so much, and like he had his moment. You know, it's probably never going to get better than 30. So I just couldn't do it. And I as much as I despise the booking of Vince McMahon and Roman Reigns, I don't want to see either of them get hurt.
Well, of course.
That sounds awful.
The accidental.
Yeah. I know it would be accidental, but
I just want to read.
Because if you push the button, you're making an action that makes the thing happen. It's not an accident. It's deliberate because you pushed the button that caused it to happen. So not only are you causing suffering to another person and death, you're also
rewind that for a second. You're pushing the button with the knowledge of this is how it happens, essentially, before the quote accidental part of it. You just know that you're ending the careers of Vince McMahon and Roman Reigns.
I still couldn't do it.
Nope. Because here's the thing. Anyone who's seen like any Wish episode of any show or anything like that is going to know that in the careers of is like some vague way of saying some really bad shit's about to go down.
Right.
So your question is terrible.
It wasn't necessarily the best one this week. I'll come up with a better one next time. Vassar, what would you do?
Hell no.
Okay.
I couldn't end the careers of them. Even if I didn't know how they were going to get it before I I just knew I was gonna end both of their careers, but didn't know how it was gonna happen. I still wouldn't press the button because I've seen enough terrible wrestling accidents.
True. All right, cool. Netchester.
Yeah, sorry, buddy, but I'm going to have to take a hard pass on this one, too. As much as we want to have Roman out of our professional wrestling lives, this is just not the way to do it. And as for Vince, I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about him, but he's not going to be here for too much longer anyway. So
that's not saying anything bad. That's just a fact.
That is just a fact.
Man has lived a very hard life, and he is quite old.
Good. I'm glad to see that somebody on this show has morals. All of us do, except for me, apparently, for coming up with this question.
And here's the thing. Even if it was something like Reigns got busted for steroids, and Vince just decided to go full XFL or whatever. I still don't think I can do it.
Or
Right.
Vince just went full dementia and somebody else had to take over the company.
Somebody else.
Somebody had to.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into what we should watch this week in wrestling.
Behold the king. The king of kings.
Well, save us, Doc, since you seem so fond of talking. You get to answer what you watch this week in wrestling. And you cannot answer.
I can't answer no answer because I have an answer this week. But it's not
I was gonna say you can't answer Informer. You cannot answer Informer.
Oh, that's not wrestling related. What are you talking about? I wish I could, though. I'm not going to suggest a match that's even happened. I'm going to suggest a way for you to watch any match you could possibly dream of, and also play any wrestling match you could possibly dream of. Of course, the Summer Steam Sale is going on right now, and Fire Pro Wrestling World is 20% off. It is, it's not going to get any cheaper than this at this point. You should have got it while it was in early access, but even if you didn't, now's the time to pick it up. If you're someone who plays on PlayStation 4, go and pre-order it. This is the only wrestling video game that's outside of the WWE franchise that's worth a shit, and they're actually putting current development into. And if you like wrestling and you like video games, you are forced to support this. And if you don't, fuck you. You clearly don't like either.
Yeah, once you learn how to play, you can have some insanely incredible matches in Fire Pro. Or even just watch simmed matches that are equally as just crazy.
You can basically download anyone. And when I say anyone, I mean Abraham Lincoln to your favorite anime character. I mean, you name it. I think there's SpongeBob on the workshop.
Shrek.
And, there's of course Shrek, dude. It's gotta be Shrek.
A Game Boy Advance. Garfield.
Yeah. And it's fun to play. It's a really good game. If you've never played before, it takes a little while to get used to, but once you do it, it's like riding a bike. It just feels great. And it's also a great way to watch. Watching the sim matches is fun, unlike on WWE. So
Right.
Buy it.
Vassar, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Buy the fucking game.
Vassar.
Okay, Ricochet and Mustache Mountain versus the Undisputed Era in a trios match on NXT. That match was crazy.
Net Jester, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Okay, I know I'm out of the loop on this one, but I just got around to watching all of the UK Championship tournament last night, and there was some amazing stuff there. I'd just say watch the whole damn thing, but one of the things that really took my breath away was the match between Mustache Mountain and the Era. Undisputed Area.
Jesus fuck, Net Jester.
Sorry.
Get it together.
But Undisputed Era and Mustache Mountain, that was a hell of an incredible match, and that was my match for the week. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, give DDS what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, I'm going to go with Super Rando Raw, April 29th, 2013. John Cena and Team Hell No versus The Shield.
Shao Kahn, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
I didn't really give a shit about anything this week in wrestling, but I watched a match earlier today, and it is from May 1st, 1998, All Japan Pro Wrestling in the Tokyo Dome, a tag team match between Yoshihiro Takayama and Masahiro Kakihara versus Gary Albright and Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Holy shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Freaking Vulcan Sing. Oh, my God. I got to watch that.
All right. I'm going to tell you to watch. I don't even remember who's in the match. All that I remember is that Hon was back, baby. Hon was back, and he's looking pretty sloppy in the ring from what he was saying. But basically, he hasn't been in the ring since March 3rd, 2017. And his specifically why I want you to watch this is post-match speech, because he breaks down crying, and he says the only reason that he's there, essentially, is because of his wife. And then the crowd starts chanting the wife's name, and then the wife comes into the ring, and it was such a sweet moment. It was just ridiculous. Go watch it. It was great. It was like one of those opening 8-man tag matches. All right, we're done. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. SmarkSnark.com, Twitter.com/SmarkSnark, Facebook.com/SmarkSnark. You can check subscribe on YouTube, send us a like, share it with your friends. We really appreciate it. Thank you, podcastthemes.com. We'll catch you all next week.
I'll tell you what, my undisputed area is down south, you know what I'm saying.
Hey.
Good night.
Down south in Dixie.